was doing when I was at Mullen, I'm doing the process of art in games for it's basically what is used in the industry and how I hope to take what was used and implement it in my own design process. Working with Neil and Anna Campbell. The main goals I set out while doing the research for this presentation were to find out how does the process work, how does he get it from his head, the artist get it from the head to the paper to the screen, and basically what software and hardware is used. I just delved into character design. I could have went all out, went for all aspects, but I decided to just go into in detail of how I've done the silhouettes, or the characters. This is the process, the silhouettes, this is the process in which artists use random shapes to make up the outlines and figures of the drawing. This gives like interesting shapes and poses for the character, and basically give its starting of the personality. Rough sketch. This is done to get the details of the character, the rough details of the character, to convey the personality of the character, describe the armour, weaponry and overall style of the character, and it's usually done in numerous poses with variations done to the accessories and all to give it different refined design. This to finalise the weaponry, accessories, personality, overall style of the character, and to convey the colour scheme to the creative director. Turnarounds. This to give the modelers a blueprint of what to make, the proportion, the size, the style of the clothing, to give them a view from all angles. Popular hardware in art for gaming industry is the most popular hardware used in the art industry for big studios is the Cintiq. That's the 22 HD. It's very expensive, but it's much easier to use than the smaller, like Inchwas Pro, which smaller studios use. But it's much easier to use because with the Inchwas Pro you have to write on the desk while looking at the screen, whereas with the Cintiq you can actually look at the screen when you're drawing, so it makes it much easier to use and more intuitive. Popular software used in studios is the large studios use paid software like Autodesk, Maya, ZBrush and Photoshop, whereas the smaller studios would use something like GIMP and Blender, stuff like that. This is our game. This is this concept art that I came up with personally. The last stuff is still in production, they're still doing. Our game, we started off by thinking about what style of game we wanted to do. We decided what we wanted: a funny game opposed to a serious game, as it was short web-based game would be too short for a good impacting story. We then went on to have numerous discussions about what style of characters we wanted in game. We came to an agreement that the main character would be a lit space cowboy, and the enemies would be cows and various vehicles, and the main boss would be the huge bull. That's the asset timeline, how long it took me to do the cowboy, the model, 3 weeks, the research I put into it, of like getting JPEGs, images and PNGs, the turnarounds, how long it took me to, mess around with turnarounds and all, and the model, how long it took me to do that. I started off with the turnarounds. I had a turnaround actually that I made I was making from during the summer from CG Cookies, a little toilet there. Mm-hmm. And what I done was I went, he's good and I liked him, so I went back and I looked at him and I changed various things to him, added stuff to him that I liked, and just made my own spin on him and I modelled him. That's the refined design I did with colours and stuff like that, done at Photoshop. And then there's the finished model. I put accessories on him, put in revolvers, he's got revolvers on. And this is for the main boss that I created. Called him Bull McCabe. Everyone likes the field. The breakdowns, the silhouettes. I went through silhouettes for my rough sketch, finished design. They're the references I used. I went through references and picked out different bodies, different heads, tried to put them all together, seeing what I actually liked the design. That's the silhouette I ended up going with. I added them two references together. I started out with a rough sketch, getting his details of his muscles, the basic proportions of him, stuff like that. That's the finished design what I came up with. I decided to make him sort of look a little bit more intimidating than the other characters are going to look in the game. I want him to be, when he came in, you knew he was bad. The hardware I used from the art, I used a digital drawing tablet for most of the artwork done. Is the Inchworks manga or bamboo drawing tablet. Is 102.4 levels of pressure sensitive. This basically means you can vary the weight and thickness of your lines. You can and change opacity and colour by just the pressure you put on the pen. I use my PC for all refined drawings and paintings. As Windows 8 operating system, an AMD FX 4130 quad processor, and a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 760, an Asus M5 motherboard. And this is the software I used. The software I used and I'm planning to use. I use Photoshop CS6 for all my silhouette sketches, finished drawings. I use Blender 2.70 to create the 3D model, and I plan on using Illustrator to do my kamikaze.
Wrap up here.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
So, we're doing this now. I'm going to talk about the playability of our game. So, first off, just the input device we're using is a standard QWERTY keyboard. We're going to use up, down, left, right for movement, spacebar to where not only to keep it simple, but so it'll be more intuitive for the player to use. Basically, gameplay is in that style of a classic side scroller. Our background moves from left to right while the camera stays still. This gives the illusion of the camera moving from left to right. Our player character will basically have free movement within the camera view, and they won't be able to move outside it. NPCs and bosses. We got 3 NPCs and every boss. First one is a non-player KO. Puns are everywhere in this, by the way. Just a rough sketch there. He would basically be placed on random rooftops. We have a cityscape background. He's going to be on random rooftops along the way and just going to be firing up at the player as he moves across the screen. And next one, imaginally titled non-player KO2. He is going to be based in UFO. Technical issues at home, don't ask me, I don't have pictures of it. But he's going to spawn randomly on the screen and come across at the player. And the player just has to take him out before he hits him, basically. And the third one is our kamikaze, something by Adam, that is basically going to spawn randomly from the top and come down and actively seek out the player as he moves across the screen. So we'll have to move fast and to dodge him, shoot him out of the way. And then, as Adam said, Paul McCabe, our big boss, he'll be basically waiting at the end of the level. The screen will stop moving. He's going to be there at the end. He's going to have a huge, massive health bar, classic style, and he's going to have random NPCs are going to spawn and come out from behind them, just to add a little bit of difficulty for the end of the game. So you want to pull your hair out and kill someone. We're going to have 3 lives. They're just going to be represented on the screen, just 3 little cowboy hats there. Basically, we're going to have pickups, so when you just shoot one of the NPCs, he's going to explode, stakes are going to fall from where he was, and basically pick them up. We still haven't decided, it's either going to be, because we might put a time element in the game, either a time bonus, or if you collect enough of them, you get an extra life, or maybe for points, I'm not too sure on that yet. So basically, our overall gameplay objectives, we want the game to be fun, cartoony style, so you enjoy playing it as they're doing it. We wanted to have a replayability factor, so we put on the time limit so that hopefully you complete the game, you want to go back and complete it quicker. We want it to be competitive like that, so we put a leaderboard, or maybe even the social media aspect, if we can do it, so you can play with your friends and see who can do it the quickest, do it the fastest. a few more lads as a high score. And yeah, that's it. What do we? We'll be on to Adam here, who's going to take the back one. Good effects on the horn.
Hello, I'm the other Adam, and I'm going to go through the technical side of the game. I'm just going to start off with basically the basic function on the parts in a PC. I've got the case, that's sort of self-explanatory. That houses all the units in a PC, all the important parts. I've got the power supply. That power supply unit converts mains AC to low voltage regulated DC power for the internal components of a computer. There you go. I've got the CPU. That's basically the brains of the computer. That it carries out the instructions of a computer program by performing the basic logical control and input-output operations of the system. Another very important part, the motherboard. That's the main printed circuit board found in computers. That's everything's attached to that. I've got RAM, which stands for random access memory. Random access memory device allows data items to be read and written in roughly the same amount of time, regardless of the order in which data items are accessed. Next, I have the sound card. This isn't exactly necessary for the game in order to play the game, because a lot of motherboards have integrated audio. But basically, the sound card is an internal computer expansion card that facilitates the input and output of audio signals to and from the computer under control of computer programs. Next, the graphics card. It is important, but for this game, it's not going to be really labor intensive on the PC. But the graphics card is a device installed on a computer that consists of graphics processing unit designed to help process and display images, especially 3D graphics. Oh yeah, and they also take the strain off system RAM. SSD, it's not very important. Well, it is, but it's not going to help you play this game. This is just storage, really. You don't have to worry about that because the game is web-based, so everything that you need is going to be there. And it's not going to require you to download anything to play the game. Well, except for the plugin, you will need to get the Unity web player plugin, but if you don't have that, you'll probably be prompted if you try to play the game, and it'll direct you to the Unity's website where you can get that. You've got a monitor, again, self-explanatory. You're going to need that to see the game. We're working with the resolution of 1024 by 768 pixels because that is the most common resolution. I've looked that up just quickly to see what kind of resolution we should work with, and that seemed to be the most common one for users of the internet. So, going with that one. Speakers, standard set of speakers will be required to play the audio in the game. Like I said before, with the sound card, a lot of that's integrated on the motherboard, so you're not going to have to go out and get a new sound card or anything to listen to the audio in the game. Keyboard and mouse, again, you know, you've got the directional arrows to move the character, and then the mouse basically doesn't come into it. You're going to use that just to click to start and restart the game. In conclusion, you're going to need a normal PC with the Unity web player plugin installed to play a game. I'd be surprised if anyone had any issues trying to play the game. Again, I'll go into a bit more detail on the system requirements. For PC, you're going to need, for the CPU, you're going to need a Pentium 233 MHz processor or faster. We recommend 300 MHz to play the game smoothly. On Mac, you're going to need an Intel processor. On Ubuntu, I think, might have said that right. You're going to need 700 MHz processor, Intel, Celeron or better. And then on Steam, you're going to need Intel or AMD 64-bit capable processor. For RAM on the PC, you're going to need at least 64 megabytes, which shouldn't be a problem for anyone. That's tiny. We recommend 128 just to cover yourself. On Mac, you're going to at least 1 gigabyte of RAM. Additional RAM recommended, but one probably would get you by. On Ubuntu, you're going to need 512 MIDI bytes of RAM, that's what I stands for. I had to look that up, I didn't know what MIB was. I was thinking of Men in Black, but there you go. On Steam, you're going to need 4 gigabytes of RAM. For graphics, for PC, we recommend DX9 shader Model 2.0 capabilities. On Mac, you're going to built-in display connect to Apple supply video card supported by your computer. On Ubuntu, Intel i9 15 or better. On Steam, again, because it's newer, the parts are a bit more important, or not, a bit more sort of complicated. You've got the NVIDIA graphics card, AMD graphics, or Radeon 8500 or later. Resolution, like I said, we went with 1024 by 768 purely because that seemed to be the most common thing, so we said we'll work with that. For the operating system, you're going to need Windows XP or higher. On Mac, you're going to need Mac OS X 10.6. On Ubuntu, we said 10.10. Steam OS for Steam. Basically, all this information here, it was successful on the internet. It wasn't too hard to find, so you shouldn't be stuck trying to find out if your computer can't handle this game. But like I said, it's not very demanding on your CPU or anything, so you should be okay in that sense. Of course, because it is a web-based game, you are going to need an internet connection in order to play this and install the Unity web player plugins. And then I'm just going to finish up by talking about the schedule. When we were first put into our group, we sort of had a fair understanding from the get-go what we wanted to work on. So the art we got done fairly fast, like we got some concept characters down, and so we said we'll give ourselves another week on that, finish that up. Animation, 1 more week, because we're not going to be doing any crazy sort of animations, just kind of basic ones. Programming, a bit more time for that because we're expecting a lot of headaches trying to get that down. So we gave ourselves 2 weeks to sort of get the code in, see what's happening, and then test them for 2 weeks because we know we're going to encounter some problems with that. So again, we left ourselves 2 weeks just so we can fix anything that needs to be fixed, and hopefully in that time space that we'll have a fully functioning game that's fun to play. And that's all said.